What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Travis. Of course, you are watching TWA Motorsports, and today, yes, just like the thumbnail shows, we are going to be doing some reassembly on the truck, guys. We got the fenders back from paint. Obviously, they're not in here. They're in my house, laying on couches in our basement and a bed. So, yeah, my wife doesn't like that. Makes sense. But before we pull this thing out, because I plan on doing that outside, we got a pretty good weather today. It's a little windy, so you may get some wind noise when we go outside. But before we do that, I need to get a couple things on. We need to get those inner fenders on. But before I do that, I want to go ahead and put those, remember the wire hides that we have? I actually have two sets of them now that we have a second bed. I've got a set, and you can see parts strung everywhere, under the 55 there, and then I've got the set that we pulled off over there on the other side. But guys, these that came off this newer bed are in way better shape. None of them are torn or broken. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to clean those off camera, and then we'll kind of show you how they mount into place. That's where we're going to get started. Then we're going to move on to the inners, or those inner wheelhouse things that kind of bolt here, and then we're going to grab the fenders and get them on. I haven't bolted the bed down because we're going to have to slide it back in order to get the bolts in the front. But you'll also notice I got my tailgate back from the painter. It looks absolutely amazing. So do the bed sides. It's going to really kind of suck, to be honest with you guys, because it's going to look better than the rest of the truck. So eventually we may end up having to paint this truck. But he went ahead and sprayed the bolts for me, which is cool. Now look, we're going to booger them up a little bit putting them in, but they're going to look a lot better, and I think they'll hold up better having some paint on them. So I just took those out when he was spraying some of this other stuff, and I cleaned them up real good. So I think that'll look a lot nicer. Now the inner ones here, I did coat with POR 15. So obviously I didn't want those white because they show up like a sore thumb. But let's go grab the pieces, get them cleaned off, and get those wire hides installed. These are what I was talking about. As you can see, these wire hides, they're just push-in clips. So they go along the side, and they are side specific. You'll notice that the long pigtail that goes to the back makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. It goes in like so. So I'm gonna go ahead and clip that in place. Do the other one off camera. Actually, I got a little bit of dirt left. We'll get that knocked off there, and we will be set to get the inners. So bad news. I got to thinking about, well, I didn't get to thinking about it. I actually didn't think about it, but we cut that brace out of the center. So two of the existing push-in clips would not fit. So what I did here was I just drilled a hole in the lip of the bed, and we have got those in place. So I just positioned an additional two, one in front and one in back. So now this thing's not going to get into the tire. Shouldn't have any issues with it now. But now we can continue, I guess. Like I said, I got to get the other side on, but then I'm going to grab the inner fender and get it bolted on next. I've got both these on. I know what somebody's going to say. Why didn't you clean these? Well, guys, I just didn't have the time. I painted the inners. I didn't mess with the outers, so you're never going to see them. They're going to get dusty the minute we drive it down the road. So I didn't see the point, but we've got the 7 bolts that hold that thing to that outer rail installed. And now we are ready for the fenders. But I did go ahead, kind of tuck the brake lights in their pockets. May not have been a good idea now that I think about that. Actually, guys, I think once I get it outside, I'm going to take those back out because that fender wraps around the bottom here. But before we do that, I think we can reach all this stuff. There's a bracket. If you remember, there's a couple brackets that kind of reinforce this thing. I think what I'll do is I may put those in after the fact. I know there's one. I think there's one right here in the corner. We're gonna have to have them loose. But what I was gonna tell you is kind of the way these fenders work is they have to tuck in this little rail here. So you can see there's a rail here that they kind of get underneath. So we start high and kind of loop them under. What I noticed on the other side is this is loose. This is loose and this is loose, making life a little bit easier. So I think what I'm gonna do is I may even just take these completely off. They look like a T30. We'll take these completely off, and that'll improve our chances of being able to get that on. So we'll only have to tuck it in the front and in the back. So we're gonna yank this thing out of the garage because I don't want to try to do it in here, and we're just gonna have to deal with the wind outside. One other thing I completely forgot to talk about, and I really need to do before we do this, is I got a new filler neck here, and I believe these, man, they look like a 9mm. They look like an oddball size, but We need to take this off and swap to the new GM one I bought, so we can not have to worry about doing that with a bed on or trying to tuck that thing back up in there. So here's the new one, and they're actually 7mm. Looks bigger than that out here. Definitely looks a lot better, and it's not broken at the top, so we should be able to get our screws in it to mount it. Just try not to drop one in the tank. If we can keep from doing that, we'll be set. Then we're gonna go grab some fenders, guys. We're gonna make this thing look like a dually again. We're gonna have to slide the bed back a little bit, which I got cone out here. It's really a two-person job. I have to put this one a little further down. We're getting ready to go grab that panel. So a couple things that you guys need to make sure you're doing. Okay, remember, you got to tuck the top in, so we got to get it really high, and the wind's not going to help us, but two people is definitely going to help. We got to get it really high to get it stuck in the front and the back. The other thing you need to be very aware of, if you just let it fall down, it's going to scrape up against this. We kind of got to pry it out around this, because the outer lip, okay, so it folds under this and bolts, so we need to make sure we don't just let it go. We try to work our way up through there. So what I'll probably do is have Cohen maybe hold it up while I'm tucking that in and getting the gas door or gas cap, the nozzle, into place. Put it way up like this, and then you're gonna get that lip underneath there. There you go. Under? Yeah. Okay. Hold it under. Yep. Push it up as you go. Good? Yeah. Okay. Now, hold on. Wait. These, right? Yeah. I didn't think you were running. Those are on. I'm gonna lift up on it and push that gas door. Got it? It's straight. Pretty close here.
It should have been in the back of that.
Yeah, no, it's going to. That's how it stays on. Alright, I'm gonna go get a couple pieces to connect the gas door so we don't have to mess with that, but I'm having issues with getting the inner fender at the top into place. We actually, guys, I don't necessarily know that you could do that if you didn't take these pieces out like we took out. Cohen noticed, oh, that scraped up a little, but it's going to be covered. I got the gas door temporarily mounted with one of the Torx and the push pin. Still got to put the gas door in, but we're going to go ahead and start putting the bolts in. Remember, we got the, I think they're 13mm up here. We've got the ones that go around the inner, and then remember back here we've got let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4 of these Torx. We were able to get it on here. We just marred it up in a couple spots, but we didn't actually scratch the paint like I thought. These right here, like areas like that, are just mars that we made with our hands. We got gloves on. Okay, so we've got the 4 Torx that go in here, top, middle, 2 on the bottom. You can see our dowels lined up. We've got, I went ahead and put these back in place. Guys, take these off. This makes life so much easier. And then we went ahead and kind of snugged those down a little bit. I'm gonna run those the rest of the way down by hand. And then the 13mm up front here. So we're gonna go ahead and knock the other side out off camera, but kind of exciting here. As you can see, we've got the truck back in the shop, but what happened, guys, was, look at that. Just had an emergency room visit. I actually just got back from the emergency room about 20 minutes ago, I guess. Spent 3 hours down there because what happened is we got the bed sides on. Remember, we had the bed pulled back because I had to tighten those 13 millimeters up against that are between the cab and the bed. And so we were pushing it back and my finger got stuck between, when we were pushing it forward, it slid and it smashed my finger between that thin sliver of the frame and the bed up top here. And it broke the end of my finger off. So basically the little point on my finger and flipped it back. The only thing holding it was a piece of skin, and I cleaned up the blood. I didn't want to show you guys that. It was all over the floor. It didn't actually break my glove, but it did break my finger. So fun times, but hey, we're out here pressing on. Look, sometimes it probably would be best to take a break, but I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna hand tighten these up all by hand, all right? I'm gonna do that all the way around. I would just feel more comfortable going into this, you know, composite or whatever style bed it is with those bolts. I also need to get, I don't know that I have the other bolt to hold this guy in place. A good thing I'm right-handed, but I do have the bolts to hold the gas cap on. So I need to put that on and snug everything down. And then guys, I think what we'll do is we'll move on to the tailgate. Now, when I had him paint the tailgate, I took all the latches and stuff off. So we're gonna have to put the rods and whatnot back in. And then I also am gonna have to get these pieces that hold the bottom of the tailgate off that other bed. So good news, I didn't get rid of that yet. So let me get all this stuff tightened down with my right hand, because that's all I got. And we'll keep pushing on. I actually changed my mind. I think I'm gonna have Cohen help me put the bumper on before we do the tailgate. That way we don't accidentally hit it. So here's what we've got. You notice there's brackets that hold the bottom of this, right? So we've got several. We've got like a, this bracket right here. Hopefully you guys can see it. I went ahead and put it in. It goes up, hooks to the bottom of the frame rail, and then it has two bolts that come into the bottom. Now I need to go do that on the other side. The next one is a single that runs up from the corner of the inner into the bottom here. And you notice I had him paint those. Those are some of the bolts that I had him paint white. Now, look, we're probably gonna scuff them up a little, but it goes up to this corner. See that hole in the corner right there? I'll point with my metal finger. It goes from there down to this corner, and the ends are threaded on it, so you don't have to worry there's no insert or anything. And then the back one, guys, it's same situation. There's a hole back here in this back outer, or the inner, I guess it would be, and it goes down here. It's a double. It splits and goes, you have 10 total, so 5 on each side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Same thing on the other side, so we have a total of 10. But I'm gonna go ahead and put those braces in place. That just keeps this from flopping around. Now it's pretty solid, but that really makes it quite a bit more solid than not having anything in there. So, I mean, it came with it. I suggest you put it back in. Don't over tighten, especially on the bed bolts, guys. Look, this is, you guys know how flimsy these things are. I actually think I'm gonna paint those. It drives me a little crazy to have them look like that. So those are the two that go in the front. And then, like I said, the splits go in the back, and they're over here. I'm gonna paint these. I'm just gonna paint these black, just probably flat black or a semi-gloss black. I'm gonna do that before I put them in, guys. That's gonna make me crazy. But I gotta find another bolt for my gas cap, or the inner. So the bottom's a clip, the two tops are a Torx. But I also need to go grab, I've got the little rubber inserts, so when you shut it, it doesn't go too far and look weird. It actually pulls it out like this, and it kind of softens the close. So let me go grab those. I've got those over there, and we'll shove those in. And then I guess, guys, I may go ahead and start to assemble the tailgate a little bit. I don't know what my next move is. I want to touch up a couple spots back here that look kind of gross. You're not really going to see a lot of that, so it probably doesn't matter, but I'm going to put a little touch-up paint on this, and I think we'll go ahead and get our, I guess it'd be considered a marker light into place, but I'm going to grab some touch-up paint and put on there before I do that. So I've got this thing cleaned off, this rod, and so guys, obviously the latch goes towards the latch, just 13 millimeters, but make sure this is in the middle, and you need to make sure that you get the hook to the center. Okay, you don't want it to go under, because we got to hook the handle to it, if that makes sense. So we're going to push it through there. I'm going to get the other side in. I'm going to get them tightened down, and then we'll go grab the handle. Can see I got the tailgate on after getting the two handles in. I knew to get the little rubber pieces that go in the side because it's a little loose. See how it moves a little. But you can see we've got our two pieces in the middle. So now, guys, we're gonna go grab our handle. It's just three, I think they're 13 millimeters actually. We'll put the handle in and then snap our new cover. You notice that he filled all the holes in the top, so we don't necessarily have to run a cap. So I've got the handle in, but before I put the bolts in, which they're not painted white, guys, we're gonna end up bed linering this, so I didn't really worry about painting those white, but I do like to put this in beforehand. So basically, I slide this up into place while this thing's loose. It's generally how I like to do it anyway. Oh, it'd help if I put it the right way, huh? But I like to go in the bottom first. If I can do this. Easier said than done, I suppose. Put the bottom in first, pull this out a little bit, and then snap that thing into place. You can put it on without doing that, but now we can go ahead and put our 15 or 13, I think they're 13 millimeters in on the inside. That'll snug everything up. Man, this looks good. And I know I did tell you guys that I was gonna put the bumper on first, but I think with Cohen helping me guide it into place, I don't have to worry about scratching the tailgate or anything. And we can still get our light down there. We got to put that in. I did some touch up down below, and nothing crazy, but it had some scratches, and it doesn't look great, but it's not black now or gray. I don't know if you guys could even see that down there. There was just some areas that had light scratches on them. But let me get the bolts in there and snug down, and then we will move on. This thing does have a little up and down movement, so just kind of make sure that it's square when you're tightening it up. And I think that mine is, but you can see the bolts on the backside, and they are indeed 13 millimeters. So, like I said, we're gonna move on. I don't know what we're gonna do next. I'm waiting. Okay, so like I said, I'm gonna paint those bars. I've got to get new side marker lights. I don't want to put the tail lights in because I'm waiting on reverse lights and new bulbs. I want to put new bulbs and stuff in while I'm doing this. And so I don't know what we're going to move on to next. We may wait until tomorrow morning, have Cohen come out and help me put the bumper in that has, I know it has a ding in it, which makes me a little crazy, but man, guys, it's starting to look really, really cool. I did go ahead and clean these up and snap them into place. The red ones don't look bad. It's the orange ones that are all faded. Golly, they're expensive. They're like 50 bucks a side. And all the ones like on Amazon, I just really don't love the look of them. So I don't know, guys, we'll have to figure something out, but I did go ahead and put the reds in. They don't look bad, but now that we've got the tailgate in place like we did, I want to go ahead and put our marker light in place. Guys, I actually used some 7 millimeters. I think the stock bolts are actually Phillips, but when I put this on, if you guys remember in a video a while back, I bought a new one of these, and I'm gonna go ahead and put it in place, and then hopefully we can get Cohen out here. I'm gonna go ahead and plug all this stuff in. We can get Cohen out here to help me feed the bumper in. As you can see now, we got the bumper on and all the lights are working. You can see the marker light on the bottom. You can see the lights here, guys. I'm waiting on some reverse bulbs before we put the tail lights in, but all our lights are working. I do not have the sides hooked up yet because I'm going back and forth on what I'm gonna do there. I mean, I could go ahead and hook those up, but the front ones, they look like trash. So I may put the stock ones in for now, I don't know. But I think the next step on this will be probably putting the tail lights in when I get the bulbs. As much as I don't know whether I want to do this yet or not, we're going to give it a shot. So guys, look, I bought brand new from GM rail caps, okay? And I think they're going to go down far enough to cover where I'm not going to, I'm planning on having this line X'd. So if we have it line X'd, I was going to wait to put these on, but actually I think we can go ahead and put them on now. So Cohen's going to slice this thing open, and we're going to get them hopefully put into place. So these things just snap on is the way they go into place. Grab the back of that. So we're just going to get it lined up where it needs to be. There's little dowels on it. So I think, yours lined up. We just need to nothing like beating the crap out of a brand new truck, or brand new painted truck, right? Yeah, okay, that works. Now kicking the camera. There's little pins that go in the back. I'll show you those here in a minute. That keeps the back down. But you need to kind of go down the rail and make sure you've got them snapped on and into place, and I think we're good. Other than those pins on the back. We're gonna open the other one. Go ahead and snap it on too. These corners right here, there's these little push, like where the centers pop out of the tabs, those style. Get that in, maybe. That's all we have left to put those on. I'm gonna have to maybe make that hole a little bigger or something. It's not wanting to go into place. Oh, there it went. Put the center back in it. Maybe. It's giving me fits. Got it. That's how that goes on. Well, we've got these two painted and the other two that go in the front. So we're gonna put these on. Look, I just painted the bolts black that hold it up in the inner fender. And then of course we've got the white bolts over there that go in the bottom of the body. So we're gonna get these fitted. Guys, they do have a left and a right. I don't know if you guys can see that, but you can see there's an R and an L. So you make sure you get them in the right spot. And they should just kind of gradually align with the bottom of the truck. We got both those braces. You can kind of see one of them right there. And then of course there's one in the front. They also are stamped right and left. So all the bolts are along the bottom side. Now we're just waiting to get the bulbs. I'm waiting on reverse bulbs. I already replaced these back when I originally installed the new taillights, but I want to put some LEDs in the reverse lights. So I'm waiting on those. Those should be here any second. But man, this thing's looking good, guys. Check out what we got. Bulbs. I have to get a pair of needle. Oh, I was gonna say, I thought I'd have to get a pair of needle nose to pull those out. So I'm not doing hot. I'm just keeping the halogens and the turn signals and whatnot, but I wanted LEDs in the reverse lights. And there's how you know they work. Okay, nice and bright. So now we can kind of finish this project off, or at least the rear part, by putting these back into place. These fought me a little bit going together, if I remember correctly. They only fit a certain way, so. And then, guys, you don't necessarily have to do this the way I did. You see how I've got the bulbs. Oh, never mind. I thought we had threaded them through or something. Okay, the last one up top. We need to get these things pushed in and try not to scratch anything. Oh man, love it. Looks great. All right, I'm gonna get our bolts in. We'll go to the other side, do it. And we will step back and take a look at what we've got. These tail lights aren't a perfect fit, but believe me, they're way better than what we had before, which was those like bubble style off the like 04 to 05 fleet sides. They don't fit very well. Got both the tail lights in. New bulbs working great. Looks really good with the LEDs everywhere else, at least in my opinion, especially that, like the one underneath, the little marker one. We still got to get something for the side. You know, we put the red ones in. We got to get the oranges. I'm not sure if I'm going to buy an aftermarket set or if I'm just going to cough up the $100 for the two. I hate doing that. That seems ridiculously overpriced for those. But maybe I can find a bed somewhere that's broken where I can get a decent set. I don't know. The aftermarket ones stick on, and these have clips. I like the ones with clips better. I don't really want like a smoked one, and that seems to be the popular option. The only way to get an orange and a red is if you get the ones that stick on. And so I don't know, we'll just have to see, but that's the only thing we have left on the bed. Obviously we got the new panels back from paint. We got the tailgate back from paint. We got the new GM rail caps on. Guys, I will try to list everything in the description that is on this truck that we have been using. And it's getting there. I know some of you are probably thinking like, why didn't you put the wheels on, right? You've got the wheels, it's time. It is close, guys. And I was gonna do it in this video, but I got to thinking about, I wanna rebuild the brakes while we've got the wheel off. So I don't know if that'll be the next video on this thing because I've got some parts for the front, and I would like to do that. We also got painted door handles. I want to do that. I want to do some stuff on the doors. We need to do some cleaning. So I'm not sure that that'll be the next video on this thing. It may be though, but I definitely want to redo the brakes while we've got the wheels off. I'll probably do the same when we go. And yes, we are going to be dropping the front. We're not going to drive it all squatted like this, but it is starting to really take shape here, guys, and look really, really nice. But hopefully you guys have been enjoying this. My finger did not enjoy this video. It's been 2 days now since I've done this. It is still pretty painful. I've got to see a hand surgeon about this deal since I broke the tip of the finger off, and there was just a little bit holding on, keeping the end of my finger on. So be careful, guys, when you're out working. It just, stuff happens, you know. But if you have been enjoying this video, guys, please, like always, smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are not subscribed, you got to get subscribed because this thing is going to look wicked with those 22-inch Alcoas on there and drop to the ground. Stay tuned to see what we work on next.